make a small pittance and pay $1,000 to people to play. Please let me have money. Please.
Alright, I'm just getting the game. I'm not even going to do it anymore. Let's move in. Welcome back, folks, to another game. I can't believe this semi-final went uncasted. It's a crime. A semi-final between two absolute cuties. That's right. Everyone's like, oh, he said the cutie word. It must be BC Cutie. Oh my god, the baboon name. It's definitely BC Cutie. It's not BC Cutie. In the red, playing on the name Baboon, it is Recon. Because he was recently playing some free-for-alls and everyone has started changing their names to Baboon. I look forward to checking them out next stream, as I think it's going to be hilarious seeing everyone not know who anyone is. Especially for me as a caster. God damn it. But we got Recon versus Luciferon in the semi-finals to see who goes through to the grand finals of the $1,000 one weekend long nomadic clash hosted and organized by Mr. Merlin. Shout out for him putting this together and shout out for the commitment on both sides. On one side, there is Luciferon going, I got this, bro. I can do it. On the other side, there is Recon going, but little did you know, there are no more villagers coming to this rush. Because Luciferon is stuck in a well, and so is Recon. What? These spawns? Pours the lotion on her against the hose. Honestly, if I'm like Recon, I'm a lot more happy with this terrible start, right? Because it's not so terrible when you think about it. You've got 2 villages in one location, efficiency. French pay half price for lumber camps, efficiency. Then I can also drop a mill and get fishing going for half price, efficiency. Literally, because you're fishing in that situation. This is so much better. Oh my god, TC, like, you would think that there is only one gold vein on the map with the way they've built this. There is nowhere. This map is only one screen big in the eyes of these two. Can we put that down as a terrible idea for a map that someone should definitely do, by the way? All gold veins are just in one location on one screen. Oh my god, I'm going to stop. So both commitment onto the wood. This is actually worse for Luciferon than it is for Recon. Because Luciferon has to drop a lumber camp to the side early on, instead of having this TC save him 50 wood. Meanwhile, for Recon, it's another instance where he's paid 25 wood instead of 50. This is going to have a knock-on effect because of the fishing, which Luciferon just discovered. Because Recon now, with the savings on all that wood, can start getting fishing boats quicker. Problematic here now for Lucy. Now, Lucy does at least have this upside, right? Got Hunter carried out. He's getting 16 passive gold. He's also got access to deer. So decent food gatherings at least. I still can't help but favor Recon's position here. Even the breakout of villagers is going to be quicker for him compared to this. So, Lucifer... No. He doesn't even have enough room for a lumber camp right now, right? He could make room. And I think he's like subtly forgotten about this villager, which is unfortunate. Because it would return value. But it seems he feels so wood stretched right now because he's trying to set up a dock himself. We'll make the play for it. And, well, it's because it's one villager versus one villager. Both are injured. Because there's a scout here for Lucy, Recon can't counter this play, which is unfortunate for him because it's going to put him at a difficult disadvantage if they both crack feudal at the same time. Remember, for the Roost, they can convert their fishing boats into military vessels. The French player is going to have to build them from scratch. So Missib's coming in with the tricks. He says there's a trick there. If you sign him to a mine or something, he will drop his wood and then you can chop again. That's true, actually. Oh, yeah, you're right, because he filled up by mistake. So he's just actually stuck here. All right, Missibs. Big boy Missibs coming. That's a good tip, actually. I didn't know that one. So there you go, folks. If you find you've got full wood and you need to empty your stocks and remind someone they're not a woodcutter, have them pretend to be a gold miner and then instantly come back and they'll have an empty wood pallet to fill up again. The unfortunate detail of this for Lucy is he forgot to just not gather from the tree. So at some point he got distracted and didn't actually stop himself from gathering 10 wood before he chopped down another tree here. So Recon's now countering. No, you just assign him to it. Okay, we'll have to test. Someone go test that quick. I'm curious on that one. Love confirmation, but I'm tempted to believe Misibs, but Recon does seem a little bit confused. Recon has already confused me, though, because we were talking a little, and apparently there's a fishing trick that allows you to manually drop off fishing boats' food at mills. However, I've watched a game on Ancient Spires where a player was very clearly frantically trying to drop off fish, and it didn't work. So there's a lot of weird stuff happening at the moment. Maybe there's some inconsistencies. We'll have it checked. Thank you, Recon. Nice Spearman player, though, coming out from Recon. The tricky Raccoon strikes again. Forces a Wooden Fortress commitment in the area. Decent value to be here for Lucy to be parked there, right? The deer stacks. Now, potentially just protecting the door. Overall, not a bad investment of a Wooden Fortress. Where it does feel bad is when you realize at home, he hasn't got one. That's no additional wood for a Roost player. Very important considering how expensive your boats are. What does this mean? It actually means that Recon should crack Feudal quicker. Because right now, it's a 5v1 fishing boat situation. Although the Roost fishing boats are superior to individual normie fishing boats, they aren't at this scale, at this ratio. Recon, man, he's definitely stretching it quick to get into that field timing. He played wide under the gold. Lucifron, of course, didn't have to. He had access to a lot of bounty here. He must have got at least tier 2, if not more. Most of the deer stacks have been just annihilated by him. But it's actually going to be Recon going up first. And it all comes back to that food situation here. Only now is the second fishing boat coming out for Lucy. And notice Recon is stopped with fishing boats. This is a very good play here. He can save 3, but he doesn't want to leave more to just die. Because he knows what's inevitably going to come is a quicker timing on Feudal Age. Or at least on the initial military boat in Feudal Age. Instead, he's going to pivot into Knights on land. I'm going to speed this up a little. We can see the lay of the lands. And yes, just to confirm for people, Baboon is Recon in this situation. Hello, Lash, my boy. What up? Coming in with a raid. Appreciate you, bud. Hope you had a good stream. We are probably going to check out your games. Either I need to think about tonight whether we're going to stream Tuesday or Wednesday, but hopefully your games are still there that you had in the Nomadic Clash, and we'll check those out. Fish, of course, can still be dropped off, but Lucy now blocked to just 3 fishing boats, and the timing on the galley! Lucy's still not there. He's panic rushing. 11 people on the Golden Gate. It's too little too late, though. The damage already done to the fishing boats means half the fleet are going to die. Oh, my goodness. This is the worst-case situation for Lucy. And notice that Recon heavily injures each of the fishing boats to give no good options for conversion. Lucy, he's trying to dodge. You just can't, though. At this speed, it doesn't work. Yeah, you get the Springwood out. He's trying to heal. He might just about keep it alive. He converted 2 in the end. So it looks like Lucifron will keep his naval ambitions alive. But ironically, he looks more like the French when it comes to the way that naval history plays out. You can have an ambition, but it doesn't mean it's going to be reality here. One Springwood ship can clean him up. Recon. He's on land now. Knights have moved out. Spearman as well. So he's harassing him everywhere. Lucifron, look at the eco difference here. This game could easily just be close to done. Lucy's in desperation mode. Look at the way he's cycling through wood lines. He's only now building the Wooden Fortress. This whole time he's been without. Sprill ship has taken full control now. So Recon, he will have all the fishing he desires on multiple lakes. Lucy is now only attempting to reboom on the northern one. Problematic situation here. Villagers. What? Oh no, Lucy! One more stab. He'll keep one villager alive, but look at the eco. It's a double up. We're 10 minutes in the game, and it's 20 eco compared to 38. I honestly don't know how you get back in this. Like, you can't even play out onto land more. Look at the scouting from Recon. Mwah, this is what I want my boy to do. This is what I've been asking. Reconnaissance wins games. And he has been rooting his way around the base for a Tootin. He's looking for an opportunity every time because he knows Lucifron has to come out. So far, Lucy has been burying himself in this wood line. There's only so long you can nuzzle the wood before you need to move out. That's going to offer up opportunities, especially with Knights moving around. If he's fast enough, he could even snipe out another villager over here. commitment on both sides. I respect it. We've seen games, and this is the thing, right? So Recon probably understands in this matchup, with the fact he got the dock down early, contesting this TC is a good play for him. I think from Lucifer's perspective, that earlier series versus Beastie, where he was forced to move his TC away and ends up eventually losing the game, made him hard lock into it. I think he became stubborn because that game had to be fresh on his memory because it looked brutal the way he got shut down. But the fact he committed to this TC clash without any sort of insulated eco early on the way that Recon did, put him miles behind. Now spin with Knights. Look how many are coming. It's 4 Knights. Lucy's now only building his first. I don't really see an easy way at this point, folks. I mean, Recon just looks so much better. Lucifron finally admits defeat. Game 1 of the semifinals goes to the Tricky Racket. Only one game, though. It's best of threes. Made in this criminally uncast game. Ding, ding. You heard the ding, ding correctly. 3 minutes of peacetime. How will they carve it up? They're close, but no cigar this time. They're not in kissing distance. They're not trying to snuggle up in a cold winter. There's almost a screen distance between them. We have, of course, got them the wrong way around. Let's fix that. There we go. Recon that side. Now that I know which side they're on, I can actually place the score. The one annoying thing about MegaRandom free-for-all, or MegaRandom Nomad, rather, you can't ahead of time just prep the scores. I have to wait until I'm in. So Recon did, of course, take map number 1. Very comfortably looking, by the way. Now we hop into the second one. Recon taking the HRE that can usually be seen as a defensive civ, at least with its opening. Lucifron with the Ottomans, a civ that has shown more flexibility recently, with the ability to either go for a castle age timing or play super aggro into feudal. See which way he wants to go. Okay, and Recon has confirmed someone that we were fearing the last one. Missib said something about switching resources. Recon has been kind enough to confirm for us you actually have to start gathering another resource. I thought so, but I want to give the benefit of the doubt. Thank you for confirming that, Recon. So you can't just assign them, you have to drop off. I wondered if it was that way. Glad you were able to confirm that for us. But let's focus on this game, where no one is stuck in a tree line, so everyone's able to gather and drop off. HRE versus Ottomans, the dynamics to consider here are kind of different. Because one thing I'm going to say is Recon, at least from what I've seen in a few games recently, most notably the one we saw from him on Prairie against Beastie, he plays a very different style of HRE to what I think we're used to seeing, especially against civs like the Ottomans. One that relies more heavily on static point defenses. That could be incredibly impactful when you spawn this close together. I'm curious to see if he's going to do it this time around, though. Curious to see, actually, if being this close is more beneficial or bad for an Ottoman player. Because I'm looking at the lay of the lands, and one big concern I have is, like, how do you kill Eco at home? Right? This is, like, an absurdly good spawn for Recon. He's got gold. He's got wood. Why is that wood important? Fish! He's fishing already. Wait, what? What? What is this spawn? I really hope Lucifron's not going for a castle stage rush. He can't. You can't rush castle. You honestly cannot rush castle in this game. Your food gathering rates are so inferior to the HREs now, deep water fish versus shoreline. You just outright lose. HRE usually will win that race for their timing. Now they just exceed you. You have to play aggro feudal. But we already mentioned this base. It's hard to breach. There's not really much you can breach. Oh my god, did Lucifron just lose the map? I mean, Recon still has to close it out, but if he scouts this out, if he sees that, he will be chuckling to himself. Even the bugged pond has more deep water fish. Oh my god. I mean, the only upside is he can move. But like, when are you going to walk out there? Like, these villagers aren't over here setting up dock. The only upside I see for him is that Recon doesn't know how good the left side of the map is. Oh, dear God. We'll see how this one develops. I mean, it is going to be the early Spearman opening. Lucifron, yeah, it has to be an outpost play. This is not close enough to stop gathering, though. He needs to get closer. That should be good enough. So, should be able to block the gold. It's going to be tight, though. He'll have to wait for arrow slits. I don't think garrisoning will get you close enough to stop gold gathering. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, behind this, the fishing fleet continues to escalate, already up to 6. Now, remember, the time it takes to make a return on investment was already going to be better for the HRE because they gather 40% faster, right, on their wood supply. Now you have to make that an even higher number to consider because, you know, it's not just that you're getting the wood together quicker to build your vessels quicker. It's the fact that these fishing fleets that you're making on both sides, recons are making a return on their cost quicker because it's deep water fish versus the shoreline fish. That's a substantial difference. I believe it's 0.66 on shoreline fish and 1 food a second on deep water. Crippling. Heavily crippling. Recon. Even if he has to play a prolonged feudal, I think something we often forget about the HRE, they can build feudal age men-at-arms. So if he gets blocked out of gold, he doesn't need much to still field a sizable army that threatens Lucifron. Lucifron, of course, can get a counter into archers, but there's still a risk of die-through, right? And if you go into this mass men-at-arms early enough, and Lucifron doesn't tick the box for mass archers fast enough, you block out his wood. And we talk a lot about passive production for the Ottomans and how strong it can be. But when you go mass archer build, the passive production isn't about archers, it's about Sipahi. So you wouldn't be able to reach critical mass. We'll see if it plays out that way. I see one big issue for Lucy is if he continues to escalate this dock with the fishing like he is, he's not going to have enough wood to commit into archers early enough. And it might just be that Recon closes out this game in feudal age. The aggro coming in. Villager's able to shivs out, remember. He'll delay this timing, but he can't stop it. This is the problem you have. It's 8 heal a second. Your spearman hit for 7. It's very difficult to compete, especially when you consider your attack speed. It's almost 2 seconds to wait for each attack. And we are going to see the Madrasa, so good read by Lucy. He needs more food. He's not going to be able to compete long-term here. Recon might be considering another dock by the looks of it, so trying to escalate. A few late reach first for him. See what the opening is going to be. Horseman is quite good here. I know we saw some Spearmen, but Horseman preempts you for what feels like an inevitable archer push from an Ottoman player. There is still that men-at-arms strategy we talked about, though. And looks like the first up move is going to be to get a Springwood ship out. Now, remember, these are shallow waters, so Recon does have the angle of approach. So there's a lot of talk about, like, Mega Random here. How about this for a solution in 1v1s? Mega Random Mirror. Mega Random Mirror may just be... Mega Random Mirror Nomad may just be the solution. I actually think that's the way to go. Because this is the most scammed spawn I've seen ever on Deep War. The alternative is you just have someone check the seeds. But I can't remember if you have... Do you have seeds for Mega Random or not? Because in an official tournament, we can just check seeds. But I'm not sure if you can do that in Mega Random. Seriously, though, Mega Random Nomad Mirror would be good. Or Mirror Random, yeah. Mirror Random Nomad would be good. Because I've seen Mirror Random, but I haven't seen it with the Nomad element. I actually really like the idea of Nomad, just so you have variability and options at your disposal. I do like the 8 villager start, though. I agree. That's really good. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Jackpot, he says. However, Lucifron's the one rubbing his hands together like a greedy boy. The body blocks as well. I love it. And notice now he's going to heavily injure the Hulk until he can blow. Demo ship insta-kill. Dude, that was pristine out of Lucy. Education is important, folks. And today, we're here to teach you about body blocking. That is what I like to see. I come from Dota 2. We know body block, and we use it every game at the start with creep waves. It's so hard to do in AoE4, though, because instead of actually being physically blocked by things, they just shunt against each other and rub past, like they're all covered in KY jelly, right? They've all been buttered up and slipped by. But when you do actually put the effort in to use that body blocking, it can make a world of difference. I see. So they had seeds, but the villager spawns weren't the same. That is a tough one, I agree. Hey, all I'm going to say is no one's had a worse villager stuck situation than... I I don't know. It's between Beastie and Beastie and Lucifron, rather. I think Lucifron's one was worse because he had 2 stuck in different locations that were bad. Now this feels bad for Lucy. Archer push from Recon, something you don't see. When was the last time an HRE player built range units? It's a rarity. He's given every reason to by the early spears. Now you can see Lucy's going to try to pivot into Sipahi. Even goes in the stables because he has that fishing fleet, remember. But I'm worried about that fishing fleet and how long it's going to last. Lucifron has shortchanged his defenses here. Notice that Recon is already up to 4 galleys and a Hulk. If Lucifron plays this defensively, he loses out. You can't compete with the production or the affording of production of the HRE. With that extra gathering of wood, he's able to go up to 3 docks theoretically at this point. Here we go, march out. Now, it is only 2 Springolds here, 4 galleys, which is a little bit of a vulnerability. But this is the point where I'm expecting a demo ship, and that's exactly what we're going to get. It's been queued up. He notices how shallow the defenses are, and it looks like Lucifron is playing very hard into Springolds. Worrisome. And remember, for Lucy, this is all blind. He doesn't know what's happening. Meanwhile, Recon getting eyeballs on. He sees the mass stone gathering, so he understands it's now time for the Ottomans to make the transition into passive unit production. Recon can't allow that for free. Alternatively, instead of going full aggro, he could just tech up, though. Look what he's got. He got gold on the south side. He wooded up. On this small choke point that Lucy now has to play into. Archer's a bit slow to react. Recon maybe not expecting the harassment underneath his TC. Want to back off here. Best thing you can do is use the archers to get rid of the spearmen, and then use the towers to clear up the Sipahi. This is what he's now going to go for. So some eco damage will be done, but his naval side is just too strong, and speaking that naval side is pushing in. Demo ship is holding hostage. Recon's really good at this, by the way. He starts steps to try and dodge incoming shots. Gets decent damage done. Galleys will look to back away. Springald ships will just park themselves. Clear advantage now as Recon pushes it. Meanwhile, on land, minimum damage done to him. Recon barely blinks under pressure. We'll look to reset, though. We'll back up. Most galleys were removed, so he's worried about that demo ship play. Looks like he did use the man the sails to retreat even faster. Good play there coming out from the tricky raccoon. Now back to the gold gathering. This is where Recon really could just go for that rush into castle. It gives a small window for Lucifron to exploit, but Lucy's not there yet. He's only set up the blacksmiths. He hasn't got the military schools. His wood line is way too small. So now there's 2 choices, right? Recon should very clearly understand that he can just get Castle Age for free here, or he goes into mass horseman archers and comes around the back. Because there's nowhere else you can go for wood here. Lucifron, everywhere he'd go, is undefended, away from his base. And by the looks of it, we are getting horsemen and archers, so yeah. Recon, he does want to play a prolonged feudal, something that usually the HRE is uncomfortable with, because one big issue with the HRE, you're so eco-efficient on the gathering, you tend to struggle to use those resources fast enough. You always end up building up surplus. It's one of the big pet peeves I've heard out, especially HRE players, is that I've got this economy, but I can't build up production quick enough to use it. Interesting. So going into the racks as well. Ticks all boxes. He's going to be forced west side. And, oh, hello. Oh, I didn't see this. Lucifron got to the good water side. He's going to be held hostage by the demo ship, though. No, it's the archer ship being prepped. This is not for free. In fact, I think this was this Lucifron reacting, or was this Recon reacting? It looks like Recon tried to extend out here first. And then they turned it into a clash. Archer ships are on the way to do the demos. Demos moving in. Heavy damage done. So Springald's pretty much gone. It's a game of kiss chase now. Not enough to kill him off. Recon played that perfectly. All demos gone. Ottomans are making a heavy investment here. Meanwhile, Recon is saving up. 800 gold in the bank. 600 food. This is now the time you go Castle Age. Lucifron has heavily just crippled himself. Oh my god, it's so hard to watch as well. The woodline to woodline move. It's too late for a full archer play as well. Because if you go for full archers as Lucifron, Recon's going to have full unlock into castle. And actually, I think this is a Burgrave game. I think you can end on Burgrave really fast here. Your food is completely unharassed on the north side. He's going to go for Regnitz, which I can respect here, right? Regnitz gives you long-term scalability. And we talked about Recon's playstyle. Recon is a type of player who will sit there and go, how do I look 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes from now? And if he's ticking the box each time and he feels like he's always going to be ahead, he'll always choose that later time. Regnitz gives you that. It allows you to continue to scale. Burgrave is like a 5-minute and done type scenario. And from Recon's perspective, next 5 minutes is cruise mode. It's very difficult for Luciferon to kill him. Especially when he plays towards the shoreline like this. I love this. Recon leveraging the naval advantage to ensure the Sipahi will lose. Now Doc's starting to be taken out. So there's emplacements. Annoyance that is being removed. Lucy. A lot of wood here. A lot. Over 1,000 surplus. You see this from time to time, right? Players who kind of get locked out of resource, they shuffle and then they overburden into one. The only way this now makes sense for Luciferon is if he converts to farms, and I think he's going to be forced to use it that way. Because if you go mass archers, like you understand what's coming, right? There's a reason why Lucy isn't building archers. It's because the next logical move for an HRE player is heavily armored units in Castle Age. So if you mass archers, you just essentially make it impossible to win. It is impossible to win. Wow, no hesitation. Luciferon, he sees it, he calls GG. A frustrating map spawn, but Recon plays it right. He comes out ahead. He will be the person heading on through to the Grand Finals to face off against Marine Lord. If you want to catch that Grand Finals, be sure to check out Mr. Merlin's channel. He should have it uploaded to YouTube shortly, so you'll be able to catch the Grand Finals, which I believe was a best of 5 between Marine Lord and Raccoon Man. Raccoon Man? Recon. I've called him Raccoon too many times now. Recon and Marine Lord in that finals. You don't want to miss it.